Hi everyone, welcome to the session on Cs22071 Agile Methodology presented by R. Samundi, Assistant Professor of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are going to see the topic as Variance in Agile Practices from Unit 4 Agility and Requirements Engineering. So, in our previous session, we explored how Agile impacts the requirement engineering and how current Agile practices operate in a real world teams. So, today we will discuss something equally important, that is variance in Agile practice. Even though frameworks like Scrum and Kanban provides a structure, no two teams use Agile in exactly the same way, and that's not a problem, it's a strength. We will explore why this difference occur, what form they take, and how variance actually supports agility instead of hindering it. So let's begin by understanding the foundation, the relationship between the Agile philosophy, its framework, and real world practices. Now we'll see the Agile framework at its heart. So the framework is a heart of the Agile. So Agile is a philosophy. It is guided by the Agile Manifesto. The philosophy provides the values and principle. It's not a rules. Then come to the frameworks like Scrum, Kanban, which gives us a structure, a set of best practices, or what we can call rule books. But here the reality in practice, most teams don't follow these frameworks exactly. They tweak, combine and adapt them to fit their environment, project size and team culture. This adaptation, this difference between the textbook and the real world is what we call the variance. So, what exactly we do mean by variance and why does it exist? Let's find out. Let's first we have to understand what is the variance in Agile refers to the difference between the ideal textbook versions of a framework and how it's actually implemented in the field. Why does it happen? Because every team is different at different people, different time zones, different cultures and technologies and goals. So, one size fits all, the process simply does not work. And here is the key is the variance is not a sign of failure. In fact, it is the sign that a team is learning, adapting and becoming truly agile. Now let's explore where this variance shows up, starting with the team structure and size. So, according to the Scrum Guide, the ideal team size between 3 and 9 members, small enough for tight communication, but reality looks different. Large projects often need bigger teams, so organizations adapt using structure like a scrum of scrums to coordinate across the multiple teams. You might also find component teams, groups dedicated to specific areas like database and payments. While this structure helps manage the complexity, it can reintroduce the traditional handoff problem if not managed carefully. So, variance here means modifying the team roles and ceremonies to suit the practical needs. Now, even the tools teams use can create another kind of variance. So that is, we will see in the next slide, variance in tooling. In Agile, tooling greatly influences how work flows. Some teams use low technology tools, whiteboards, stick notes, and face to face discussion. These are fantastic for small, co located teams because they promote collaborations and focus. Others use high tech tools like Jira, Trello, and Azure DevOps, perfect for distributed teams needing the traceability and transparency. However, digital tools often encourage more detailed documentation compared to physical sticky notes. So, even something as simple as a tool choice can change the team's behavior. That's variance in action. Now, let's move into how variance also appears in the level of detail we using the writing requirements. In Agile, not every user story is written the same way. For example, as a user, I want to log in, when to use. So, when the team has a high level of shared understanding and trust, the details are filled through conversations. They rely on frequent communication to fill in the details. So others will, especially in regulated industries, write detailed stories with the specific acceptance criteria. For example, username field must be validated, password must have at least 8 characters and one special character, invalid login shows an error message. So both the approaches are valid. One values speed and collaborations, the other precision and control. The right choice depend on the context. That's the variance again. So, how does this adaptability develop in agile teams? Let's see it through the Suhari model. So why the variance is exist means because of the Suhari model. So this is the model for agile maturity. Su means follow. A team new to agile will strictly follow the framework's rules. So this is the essential for learning the fundamentals. And how means break. The team has mastered the rules and understand the principles behind them. They can now experiment and adapt the practices to the specific needs. This is where most variance occurs. In the branch of ha, there is a more variance will be occurs. And next one is leave. The team is so experienced and effective that they have moved beyond the need for formal framework. They create their own highly optimized process. In next slide, we'll see how does this adaptability develop in agile teams. Let's see the why the variance is good thing. So adaptation is agility. So adapting the new thing is called as agility. If a framework can't be adapted, it's not truly agile. The ability to vary is what makes the agile effective in a dynamic environment. If the requirements are keep on changing means using the agility it can be handled. So our next one is the agility promotes the continuous improvements. The variance in agility promotes continuous improvement. When the teams realize a practice is not working, they experiment with a different approach. This is a core part of the continuous improvement. So we have to give the more important to the variance. So variance is it's not a fault, it is a very good thing, and it avoids the dogma. By embracing the variance, teams avoid becoming the rigid and ineffective. They focus on delivering the value, not on following the rules blindly. So, in agility, it will more than rules, it will give the importance to the values and importance to the product only. That is the agility. So, the variance plays here is a important role. And finally, the conclusion is the variance is an inherent and healthy part of the agile. It reflects team's ability to adapt and is a sign of mature agile implementation. The goal is not to perfectly implement the framework. The goal is to understand the agile principles and apply them in the way that best serves your team and your customers. So, true agility lies in the ability to adapt your own process. Thank you so much. I hope this session helped you see the variance not as a weakness but as the real sign of agile team's maturity.